To put the walls up, I purchased a 8-gallon single-stage portable electric horizontal air compressor and a 3.5-inch 21-degree pneumatic framing nailer and a box of 3-inch nails for framing. And I also purchased a generator, a Fireman 7500 watt. I also used a Ryobi 10-inch compound miter saw I bought from a garage sale. It had rained a lot, so I used towels to dry up the area and pull the tarps off. I added extra screws along the edge of the floor where it ended, just to make sure when I stood the walls up it was secure. I then began to lay this first wall out. This wall would have a 3-foot by 3-foot window, and I laid down the 16-foot base lumbers first and then the studs next. Here I made sure all of the studs were straight up and down, so I went along it with a measuring tape and a iron, 45-degree iron. I cut all of the fire breaks and lined them up, putting them between all of the studs. I then cut two 16-footers and put it on the top base of the wall. I nailed it all together with this nail gun. It was the first time I used a nail gun, so it was really awesome. I liked it. For this wall opposite of the one I just put together, it also had a 3-foot by 3-foot window, and so I built it very similar. However, the windows are in different locations from each other. This wall went a lot faster than the first one. I started to figure out how to cut all the fire breaks the same size and use them to line up the studs. The next day, upon arriving to the project, it had rained most of the night, so I had to use towels to clean up anywhere that water got on the floorboards and pull the tarps off and just work. I had to stand these walls up so that I could keep building the other walls, so I decided to use the huge giant ladder and a pulley on it to then winch the walls up. I also had to use a lot of lumbers to stand these walls up. As I began to pull the wall up, the ladder almost fell over, so I tried to tie the ladder up, and then I used lumbers to stop the ladder from falling over. I moved the ladder, the last part, just to pull it up the rest of the way, and put long lumbers on that side of it so it don't fall over backwards. I also had to put a lumber across the whole wall so that it was solid. It was kind of like a jungle with all of the different lumbers. There were 16 footers and studs and ropes tied onto trees and cables, and but I was just very happy that I got the walls up. I've never gotten a wall up before. I got the second wall up a little bit faster because I had a good plan on what to do this time. I used 3-inch screws and screwed the base of the wall down to the floor and the 8-inch foundation logs. On September 28th, I started building the back wall facing the lake. After nailing this wall together, I began pulling it up, but it kept catching the edge of one of the walls, so I had to trim that wall a little, and then I ended up just pulling that wall back, and I eventually got this wall up also. Now I'm building the front of the house that has a door on it. Pulling this wall up was a little easier than the last one because I just pulled the two walls a little farther back so it didn't get caught. After I screwed the walls together, I took the ladder down and moved it to take down all the long 16 footers that were there to hold the walls up. They didn't need to be there anymore. I used a 4-stud corner. I just wanted it to be extra secure and more studs the better. I filled a 30-gallon trash bag with towels and used that to wipe the visqueen that covered the plywood flooring over the insulation. I was really worried about that, and so I really wanted to get the roof up. The tarp which I had put up on a rope above this had blown down on September 23rd, and there was a huge wind, and I just didn't want to put a tarp up again after that. The tarp would have been in the way as I tried to get the walls up anyway. Yeah, due to the rain, my road was kind of turning into a river. There was ducks everywhere. On October 1st, I began framing. House in, I used a 2.5-inch finish nailer made by Metabo, and I used 16 gauge nails, 1.5-inch long, and natural wood plywood paneling siding. This siding, I didn't have to use plywood plus an outside siding. It was all in one. I planned to cut the windows and doors after I put the plywood walls up, and I also had to cut the corners of the plywood a little smaller because the house was a little bit smaller than 16 foot. On the windows and the doors, I drilled a screw from the inside out on each corner, and then just smacked it with a blue line to mark where to cut, and then I just cut it from the outside. used a round saw to cut most of it, and then on the corners I used a straight saw or sawzall, a small one. And now here's the last window, and I'm done with the walls. I still have the walls upstairs to do though. Thank you for viewing my channel, and please subscribe and hit like, and next you can see me put the roof on. Also, I'm posting videos of surviving out here in the middle of the winter, snowstorms, snow blowing and cutting wood.